Hi, Shelley from Spin Cushions here. Today I'm going to show you how to make this pattern, Cara, the second of my Siren's Atlas collection. Now this one is going to be quite ruffled and wavy until we block it due to the lacy nature of it. So don't be alarmed if that happens. Okay, so let's get started. Now I really recommend you use a magic circle for the start of this one because of the stitches, the way they're formed, we really need a really tight centre, and a magic circle allows us to have that really tight centre. So I have a YouTube video showing you how to do that if you're not quite sure. Let's do it quickly here. Alright, now our first stitch is chain 4 starting chain, or if you do a false stitch, a false double treble, which is a little bit fiddly, but can be done. Sorry, that's double treble UK terms, or triple in US terms. Now we need to do two actual stitches, 2 double trebles UK, 2 triples US. That's 1. Okay, so now we need to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and do a double crochet UK terms, a single crochet US terms. Then we need to chain 3 again, 1, 2, 3. Then we need to do 3 double trebles UK, triple trebles US. 1, oops. 2, 3, and then we do 3 chain. We repeat this what we did before, and I'll show you what we do when we join up at the end. Won't be long. Okay, so I've almost finished the first round. I've done 3 stitches. Now I need to chain 3. 1, 2, 3, a double or single, 3 chain, 1, 2, 3. Now this is where we pull our magic circle tight. I can make the thumble fingers work. Okay, now we need to join to the 4th chain of our starting chain, or the top of a false stitch with a slip stitch, if that's what you're doing. If you use 3 chain or a false stitch. Yep. Okay, now if you're changing colours, we would do it exactly the same. Okay, the next round, over these, you can see we've got 3 chain space either side of 3 long stitches. Those 3 long stitches we're going to crochet together, and so for the first one you would do let's see, chain 4, or do your false double treble stitch if you're doing that like me. See, I do that because that means it's as if I'm doing a cluster of double trebling them together, or triple trebling them together from the very start. So the next stitch, I'll go back and show you what it looks like if you do chain 4 as well. So we start the next stitch, then start the next stitch. So this is my way. I'll go back and show you what the pattern actually says. Okay, so I've started 3 stitches. Now I just need to finish them off. Okay, so I've got a true cluster, 3 double treble UK terms cluster, or 3 triple treble together cluster US terms. So that's using the false stitch at the start, but I'll just undo it and I'll show you what it looks like if you're doing the chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you begin 2 of the extra long stitches, but just don't do that last yarn over. 1, 2, and then chain over. So it looks a little different, but I'm just going to leave it like that for this instance. Okay, our next instructions are to chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. To do a double, treble, or UK terms of a double crochet UK terms, single crochet US terms in the 3 chain space, which is actually here. Then we need to chain 3. And we're going to skip that stitch there, and we're going to do a double crochet UK, single crochet US in the 3 chain space. Okay, now we are going to chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to cluster these stitches, the next 3 together. So that is a double, treble, 3 together cluster for UK terms, or a triple, treble, 3 together cluster for US terms. So here we go. Begin 1 stitch, not finishing it, begin another stitch, we won't finish it, and begin a 3rd stitch. And this is where we finish off the cluster, yarn over and pull through all loops on the hook. So that's it, that's our repeat. I'll come back and join you when we get over here. Okay, I've just got my last partial repeat to do. I've done my 4th corner here. So I need to chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. In this 3 chain space here, a double crochet UK, single crochet US, chain 3, 1, 2, oops, 3, and skipping that stitch down there and doing another small stitch in this 3 chain space. Then we are going to chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you've done chain 4, you can join, like the pattern says, to here, which is the 4th chain, the starting chain, but I'm actually going to join to the cluster because, yes, in fact I'm going to change the pattern so it says join to that cluster. It'll just make much more sense. Okay, so we'd join the same if we were changing colour as well. Okay, so now we're going to start on round 3. The first thing to do is a double crochet UK or single crochet US in the same space as our slip stitch. Then we're going to chain 5. 1, 2, oops, 3, 4, 5. Then we're going to skip this 5 chain space and this stitch, and in this 3 chain space we're going to do 4 treble crochets UK, double crochets US. Now a tip, when you've got a long chain and then you're working a stitch where you need to yarn over, hold on to that yarn with your finger and it'll be a lot less annoying. Excuse me. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we're going to chain 5 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we're going to skip that stitch and the 5 chain and join up to this one here. And this is going to be our corner, and in our corner we're going to do a double crochet, chain 2 and another double crochet, or single crochets if you're US. So that's our corner. So I will come back and show you what to do when we join up here. Okay, I'm near the end of round 3 now. I've done my last chain 5, and the instructions now say to do a a double crochet in the same space as our first double crochet or single crochet if you're US. So I'm doing that now. Now if you're going to change colours here, chain 2 and join with a slip stitch to your first one. If you're not, if you're going to continue with the same colour, chain 1, grab a scrap of yarn. This will help mark where we need to put our hook. Then we're going to join with a double crochet UK, single crochet US. So I insert my hook as if I was going to join with a slip stitch in that first stitch, pull a loop to the front, yarn over and pull it through. What that's done is it's placed us in the middle of a 2-chain corner space. I don't have to slip stitch anywhere or work backwards to be in the right spot to begin my next round. And this little scrap of yarn tells me where to work my next stitch and my last stitch of the next round. So round 4, it says chain 3 to use as your starting chain, or you can do a false stitch like I do. So it's false treble crochet UK, double crochet US. Then the instructions say to do 2 more stitches over that joining stitch. So you're pretending that that joining stitch is the second chain of your 2-chain space, and where that scrap of yarn is where you insert your hook. So that's 1, 2. Okay, next we're going to skip the next stitch. We're going to do 1 double crochet, double crochet UK, single crochet US in that big 5-chain loop. We're going to chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we're going to do another cluster over these 4 stitches. We're going to treble crochet 4 together, UK terms, double crochet 4 together, US terms. So we just begin 4 stitches, but don't finish them off until the very last stitch. That's the first one, second, third, fourth, yarn over and pull through all loops. Okay, now we need to chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, do a single small stitch in that 5-chain space. Then we're going to skip that stitch, and in this 2-chain space we're going to do 5 treble crochets UK or double crochets US. That's going to be our corner this time around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so we repeat that a few more times and I'll come back and show you how to finish off the round. Okay, I've done the last of my repeats, so now I'm up to the last instructions, which are to do 2 stitches in the same place we did our first stitches, which is where that scrap of yarn is. So you remember all the other corners have 5 stitches in them. We started with 3, so we've got to do 2 more to finish off that corner. 1, 2, and then we join with a slip stitch to our first stitch. In my case that's a false stitch. It could be the top of your 3rd chain if you used a starting chain. Okay, so that's the end of round 4. Now, what we're actually going to be doing, oops, I've just realised I've made a mistake, I missed a stitch. I'll just go back, sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4. I forgot to do my little stitch in this 5-chain space. Sorry about that. Okay. Alright, back where we started from. Okay, now this round, you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We've got 7 stitches really around each corner. And what we're going to do is we're going to do, I'll probably show you on this one, 2 lots of 4 stitches crocheted together but at the end of this one and the start of that one, they actually share the same stitch. So it's pretty long-winded in the instructions, but when you see what's happening, it's not really that difficult. Okay. So we're beginning with chain 3, or you can do your false stitch. I'm going to do chain 3 just because that's probably what most of you will be doing. Okay, chain 3, and then we're going to triple crochet UK, double crochet US, 3 stitches together. 1, 2, oops, 3. Okay, don't need that at the moment. All right. So there we go. You've got chain 3, then we've treble 3 together, but it looks like a 4 treble cluster. Okay, so now we start our repeats. We chain 3, 1, 2, 3. We'll do 2 double crochets UK, single crochets US in this 4 chain space. We'll do another stitch in the next stitch, which is the cluster. Then we'll do 2 stitches in the 4 chain space. Then we're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3. Now, here's where we start our corner. We treble crochet 4 stitches together. This is normal, nothing unusual about this. 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. There's our cluster. Then we're going to chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to do the same cluster again, but we're going to start in the same one that we finished in. So that's the only reason the instructions are so long, just because we're using that same stitch. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. So there you go. That's a side and a corner. I'll keep going all the way around and I'll come back here and show you how to finish off. Okay, so I'm back almost at the end. Our last instruction is to finish off our corner. So we're going to need to do a 4 stitch cluster again, but this time the last leg will be in the same place that we joined with a slip stitch, which is that little spot down there. So let's go. 1, 2, 3, and if you have a look, you can see there's the chain, and that's the stitch that we joined with the slip stitch. That's where we need to do our last one. Okay, right, now if you are changing colours at this round, chain 4 and join with a slip stitch to the top of that cluster there. Oh, I've just realised it. Oh no, there we go. I thought I'd made a mistake, but I haven't. Yep. So I would join to the top of that cluster there. Instead of joining to the third chain, I would join to the top there with a slip stitch. But I'm not going to change colour, I'm going to keep going. So this time we're going to chain 1, and I'm going to join with a treble UK, double US to that cluster there. I'll explain why in a moment. So yarn over through 2, yarn over through 2. Okay. Remember, don't worry about this one being ruffled. So each corner has 4 chain. To continue on to the next round, by doing 1 chain and joining with a stitch, we're now in looks like we're in the middle of a 4 chain space. So this stitch takes the place of 2 chain. I know there's only 1 there, but because of the way it all works, trust me, it's best to do 1 chain and join with this stitch. Okay, but if you're changing colour, chain 4, join with a slip stitch. Right, okay. So now we're going to do chain 3 or a false treble, it's up to you, or false double. We're going to do 2 stitches over that joining stitch, so in the big hole, over that joining stitch. 1, 2. We're going to do a treble in the next stitch, which is actually that cluster. Okay. I would probably prefer to do that cluster using a false stitch to start with. I think it stands out a little bit too much in this one here. Just trying to see. Yeah, I think that one there is my corner where I would have used a false stitch instead of the chain 3. I don't know, just looks a little bit better to me. You're probably not as pedantic as I am. Okay, so that's we've done 2 stitches over the joining stitch, a treble in the next stitch. We're going to do trebles UK, doubles US, 3 stitches in the 3 chain space, 2, 3. We're going to do a stitch in each of the next 5 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to do 3 stitches in the 3 chain space. 1, 2, 3, a stitch in the next stitch. Okay, now in the 4 chain corner space we're going to do 3 stitches, 3 stitches, 2 chain, 3 stitches basically. 1, 2, 3, chain 2, and 3 stitches back in that same 4 chain space. 1, 2, 3. So we're doing a stitch in every stitch and 3 stitches in each 3 chain space all the way around. I'll come back and show you what to do at the end here. Okay, I'm almost back around the end. I've finished my repeats, so now I just need to finish off the corner that we started with. So I need to do 3 treble in that big hole at the start, or double if you're using US terms. 2, 3. Now if you're changing colour, chain 2 and join with a slip stitch to the top of your first stitch. I'm not, I'm going to keep going, so chain 1 and join, oops, it's got a bit twisted, to your first stitch, either the top of your 3rd chain or into your false stitch with a double crochet UK, single crochet US. You might want to put your scrap of yarn back in there if you like. Just helps you figure out what to do next. Okay, the next round is very, very simple. We do a stitch, a double crochet UK, single crochet US over that joining stitch, which is where the yarn is, in that big hole. Then we just do one of those in every stitch along, and in every corner we do a double crochet, chain 2, double crochet, or UK terms, or single crochet, chain 2, single crochet in each 2 chain space. Yeah, in the corners. So I will come back and show you how to finish off. Okay, so here we are back around the other side. I finished my repeats. I just have to finish off the last instructions, which is to do a stitch where that stitch marker is, and chain 2 and join with a slip stitch to our first stitch. And snip off your yarn, weave your ends in. I'm not going to show you that part, I'm sure you can manage that. So you can see it's a little bit lumpy and bumpy, but with a block, as you probably see, I'll see if I can tilt the camera down a bit. Bit of a block, a bit of a stretch, it all flattens out nicely. Now again, sometimes it's weird, sometimes things match really well. I'll probably stretch this one a little bit to block it, so that it might, once I block it, I think it's going to end up slightly bigger than this one. So this is Cascade Ultra Pima yarn, and this is Bendigo Wool and Mills cotton. So theoretically they should give the same result, but most of my squares I find are a little bit smaller in the Cascade. So if you need to adjust the size of this block, you can either leave, if it's too big, leave the last round off, or if it's too small for your needs, then add another round of, like we did the last one, and all will be well. So there you go, that's Cara for you. I hope you enjoy making her. She's a little bit of fun, I think. Thank you. See you later.